still remember the day I left home, the day I vowed to prove everyone wrong. My family, good, well-meaning people, had made it clear from the start that my dreams were a joke. They mocked me relentlessly whenever I talked about transforming city rooftops into lush green farms. "That's crazy," they'd say. "You're wasting your time, you'll never make it, and you'll just embarrass us all." Their words felt like punches every time I heard them, but I pushed on because I knew, deep in my bones, that this was my purpose. It wasn't just about growing plants. It was about revolutionizing the way we live, breathe, and connect with the earth. I envisioned cities bursting with life, food grown on rooftops, abandoned lots turned into forests, a new model for sustainable living. But in the beginning, the world was brutal. I faced professional betrayal, falsely accused of ecological sabotage by peers who saw my experiments as dangerous, unnatural. I was dismissed from my research team, branded a troublemaker, and cast aside. That heartbreak left a scar, but it also ignited a fire within me. I left that world behind, packed my bags, and started building my own urban farms. I poured my soul into genetically modified plants that could thrive in concrete jungles, resist pests, and produce abundant food with minimal water. I was mocked by everyone, especially my family, who called my ideas ridiculous and unnatural. They said I'd fail, that I was chasing some foolish pipe dream. But I knew better. I knew that real change often looked impossible until it wasn't. Years passed. My farms grew, first a few rooftops, then entire blocks transformed into vibrant ecosystems. My innovations caught the attention of city planners and environmentalists. I was invited to speak at conferences to showcase how genetically modified plants could turn barren urban landscapes into thriving green spaces. I became a symbol of resilience, proof that pioneering ideas, no matter how crazy they seemed, could reshape the world. Then came the moment I had dreamed of, returning home. Not as a failure, but as a triumphant pioneer. I drove through the streets of my childhood town, now unrecognizable from the patchwork of concrete and neglect I remembered. Towering above the old neighborhoods were sprawling green rooftops, vertical farms, and lush parks where once only dust and despair had reigned. I parked outside the house I grew up in, heart pounding with a mixture of anticipation and nostalgia. As I stepped inside, I was greeted by my family, my parents, siblings, eyes wide with disbelief and a hint of shame. They had heard about my success, but seeing it firsthand was something else entirely. I looked around at the living room, now filled with photos of my farms, articles about my work, awards I had earned. I was no longer the laughingstock they once dismissed. I was the person who had turned their doubts into a legacy. Then I took them outside. I led them to a sprawling rooftop garden I had cultivated, a testament to years of hard work. The plants swayed gently in the breeze, tomatoes, peppers, herbs, and rows of genetically modified greens that glowed with health and vitality. I watched their faces as they took it all in, stunned silence, eyes wide, mouths agape. "Remember when you told me I was wasting my time?" I asked, voice steady but thick with emotion. Remember when you said I'd fail and embarrass us all? Well, look at this. My father, a man who had once scoffed at my ideas, reached out hesitantly and touched a leaf. His eyes welled with tears. My mother looked at me with a mixture of pride and regret. My siblings didn't say a word. They just looked around, realizing the truth of what I'd built. That moment was a reckoning. The past had tried to define me, to dismissing my dreams as foolishness. But I had proved that resilience, passion, and innovation could defy every label, every sneer, every betrayal. I had turned betrayal into environmental salvation, restoring trust, reviving land, and transforming barren rooftops into sanctuaries of life. As I stood there, watching my family absorb the reality of what I'd become, I felt a profound sense of liberation. Their ridicule no longer held power over me. Their doubts, once like chains, had become the fuel that drove me to succeed. This is just the beginning. I want you to see what's possible when you believe in something, when you dare to challenge the impossible. I hope you remember this day, not just as a victory for me, but as a reminder that no dream is too ridiculous if it's fueled by conviction and love for the earth. They nodded, eyes shining with newfound respect, a silent apology for the years of doubt. That day, I realized something fundamental. Betrayal, mockery, and rejection are only setbacks if you let them define you. But if you channel that pain into purpose, it becomes the catalyst for extraordinary change. Today, I stand not just as an urban farm innovator, but as living proof that dreams rooted in genuine passion can overturn skepticism and prejudice. I've shown my family and the world that resilience and innovation can turn devastation into hope. That betrayal can be the seed of transformation if you nurture it with courage and unwavering belief. As I look at the thriving cityscape I helped create, I understand that success isn't just about the green of plants or the fame. It's about reclaiming your story, rewriting the narrative others tried to lock you into, and proving that love for what you do is the most powerful force of all. Because in the end, the greatest triumph isn't just in the harvests I've grown, it's in the victory over every doubt, every insult, every moment I was told I'd fail. And that, my friends, is the true harvest of resilience.